Alrighty, so welcome to GameRT's Learn and Play session for Board Game Arena. My name is Rebecca Strang, and I'm the current GameRT president-elect. I am a children's librarian at the Naperville Public Library in western suburbs of Chicago. And today I'm here to be some tech and Q&A support for Dana. This event is being recorded, and the recording will be available to GameRT members for 6 months before becoming publicly available on the GameRT website. We are also live streaming this session on Twitch. The Twitch recordings will be accessible after the 6-month members only period. And if you aren't following GameRT on Twitch already, you can give us a follow there so that we can build up our channel. We're hoping that we can get affiliate status so we can upload some of our fun past sessions that we've done. And for anybody not previously familiar with GameRT, we are the Games and Gaming Roundtable of the American Library Association. Our mission is to promote gaming in libraries, whether it's programming, collection development, community building, prototyping, playtesting, research, anything you want to do with games. And GameRT has 2 professional development series, a webinar series and a learn and play series. These events typically alter each month. This month we have today's learn and play session on Board Game Arena, and soon I'll be handing things over to Dana for that presentation and some playtime. But first, I wanted to let you know about some of our upcoming events. So if you're going to be at Annual this year, you can catch up with GameRT there. We are going to have our ALA play session that Friday night of the event at 7:30 at the Marriott Marquis. Check us out at the independent salons there. We'll have some games. If you're a Switch player, bring your Switch. We're going to try to get some video game playing going this year. We also have the GameRT President's Program, where we're going to take a look back at the past 10 years of GameRT and celebrate a little bit and share, what we've done, where we've come from, what we're looking forward to in the future. We're also going to have an awesome hands-on activity where we can get together and discuss processing and cataloging board games for collection. So we'll have physical board games there that you can get your hands on. We'll have some worksheets so you guys can take notes home with you and talk with others in the field about how they are doing these things. So that should be pretty useful. We also have the ALA Trivia Championship, which we are co-sponsoring with RUSA and NMRT. So you can battle for the title of Reference Champions of America. And then we're also having the GameRT board meeting in person at ALA Annual. So you can chat with us. If you're not going to be there in person, we will still have that as a Zoom meeting that people can log in and join us that way too. And then in July, we have 2 sessions in July, a learn and play on Twine. So you can learn how to use Twine to host game making sessions or use them for creative storytelling. We're also going to have a session on learning to build a mystery hunt. So if you were at LibLearnX, you saw the fun mystery hunt that Danielle and her team built. So they're going to talk about how they went about that and show you how you can do it for your library too. And those are our upcoming events. So for now, I would like to introduce you to our presenter today. We have Dana Scott. She is library director at the Marion County Library in Yellville, Arkansas. She has a passion for gaming and brought that passion to her little library. After visiting with library gamers at ALA, she joined GameRT and then decided to run for member at large and won, and she's been amazing. She's on the Programming and International Games Month Committee, and she's excited to share the Board Game Arena world with you today. Dana has been hosting virtual gaming programs through Board Game Arena since the beginning of 2020 and has played over 2,000 games on the platform. So please give a warm welcome to Dana, and I'm going to hand things over to her now. Thank you so much, Dana, for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, for having me, and what an awesome intro. I feel that I am awesome as well, so that's great. So I don't mind being interrupted. I know everybody is muted right now, but if you do have questions, please throw them into the chat, and I'm hoping that Rebecca can, interrupt me and ask me those questions as we go along. I do want to share my screen, and I know Sometimes that's a little hard for everybody. So what I want to do is I want to make it available for you to do a split screen. So while I'm talking, you can sign up with Board Game Arena. All right, I hope everybody can see this now. I cannot see you. So Rebecca, just pop in and interrupt me verbally.
We can see it. You're good.
Okay, awesome. Yay. So if everyone wants to, if you don't have a Board Game Arena account right now, this is hopefully going to walk you through doing that. And then at the end, hopefully we will have some time to play some games. We've set up some breakout rooms and we're ready to do that. So this is all about Board Game Arena and how to create those accounts, add some friends, and play some awesome games. So, so this is just a little about me. I began using Board Game Arena for my library programs in 2020. And it's been amazing. We wouldn't have been able to handle our pandemic situation since 2020. We would have lost everyone and we didn't this way. And we gained some new folks by spreading it out to online gaming programs instead of just you have to come into the building. So we ended up keeping all of those programs that we started in 2020 because the people that stuck with us, they may not be able to come into the library. So we've continued those programs and those are on Tuesdays. And like I said, we continue those programs now, again, for those folks who can't come into the library. And we do even have some that come into the library to use our internet to get on and play on Board Game Arena. So it's been a good, successful tool for us. And this is just showing you what the page should look like when you log into Board Game Arena. If you haven't actually logged in, but you've gone to Board Game Arena, this should be your first page before you hit that login button there. And after you hit start playing, this is what your screen should look like. Up in the top here, it's letting you pick a username. It's very important that you can pick a good one that you really love, because as I've noted, sorry, I'm a little nervous, as I've noted in number 1 here, you can only change it once, but you can change it once. So if you misspell something, you can do it. You're not locked in, but you will be locked in after that first time you change it. You'll need to provide an email address, create a password, and check that you are 15 or older, and then click start playing now. You're not quite done yet. After you do that, I'm going to go forward a little bit just so you can see, you actually have to go in and check your email. And then you have to confirm all these lovely screens. So you have to confirm that you're human. You select all the squares. I had to pick traffic lights, and only then can you actually log in. So at the top, I've shown you here in the screen share up here that says to start, please select up to 5 games. I think you can skip this step by just clicking skip this step. But if you do have some games that you actually know, I saw someone put in the chat that they know how to play Carcassonne. I'm sure a lot of people know how to play Splendor, and Azul is a big one. So throw those on there, and Board Game Arena can actually find games for you that are similar to the games you already know. Some games you will notice they have and I'm going to pull up my phone so I can look at 2 things at once. They will have a little symbol on them if they are premium member games only. And you'll find that out pretty quick, because you'll click on a game and it will tell you that you need to be a premium member. So here's what's great about premium member. Right now, you're doing a free account. Everything's fantastic. Free, free, free. Premium member, it was last year $2 a month. So you can pay for a whole year and not pay a whole lot of money to get access to all of these wonderful games. I hear someone clicking. Are we good so far? Am I going too fast, going too slow? Okay.
You're good.
Okay, good. So that premium membership is what we did for the library, just so I could send out chat requests. I can send out game requests. I can get into a lot. In fact, all the games that are available on Board Game Arena, and $2 a month is not that pricey. I heard that they were going up to 5 this year or next, but again, it's pretty well worth it. So I'm gonna click ahead here. And this is where you can make your screens or your page personal. So when I first created, this is my fake account, so don't friend me on here. I'll give you my real account when we get to that point. But when I created this fake account, I went into preferences, and they already had this particular avatar on there, and I changed it, and it shows you how you can do that as you're clicking along. And I gave a little bit of a group down here of different pictures that come up, but there are pages and pages and pages of avatars that you can choose and make it personal for yourself. And this is, you'll need to go into this area quite a bit while you're playing, because you'll have messages, notifications. You might want to change some preferences in there. And if you're on a public computer, you'll definitely want to log out at that point before you leave. So the next step after you've created the account, you're not quite done. You actually have to pick some game modes that are up at the top. The first part is picking a game mode, which is, do you want to do a tournament, a simple game? So I've clicked simple game on those. And then for my speed, I like to set up everything on turn-based. And the reason that is you don't have a clock timer at the top of the screen blinking at you, telling you it's your turn and you better take a turn in 2 minutes or you're going to get a penalty. So I don't like that stress. But there are some people that do. So feel free to stick that real time on there. But I like to do those turn-based games. There are some games out there where you do have to do real time. Just note that if your opponent plays and you've set it up that it's real time, you only have so much time before you have to take a turn or you will get a penalty. And those are terrible. I hate getting those. I've received one because I didn't know I was on a real-time game. I thought I was on a turn-based, and I kind of left the game for a little bit, and I came back and I had a penalty. So you want to be careful with those. They go away after about 30 days, which is great. But if you get a lot of them, you might not find opponents to play with you because they'll wonder why you're getting all these penalties. So again, I like to stick with that turn-based. And then you pick on over here, you pick, do you want to play with friends, which I always stick there. However, and I'll get into this a little bit later, the dropdown also has automatic or manual. The manual is good if you are setting up a game with strangers, and I'll go into that a little bit later. But for today's purposes, I would stick with simple game, turn-based, and friends. And it's probably now, if you're doing this while we're talking, it's probably offering you to learn how to play a game. And any of the games that have the little graduation cap on the top give you a nice little tutorial, which is really cool on some of those harder games that maybe you've never played before, even those really simple games like I had to learn to play. So as long as it's got that little graduation cap, you are good to go to have a tutorial, and those don't hurt your reputation. They don't give you penalties or anything like that. You can stop halfway through it and you can jump to the next thing, which is find a friend. So in the center, right underneath where it says turn-based, you should have a spot. You can see on my screen here that you can type in a username. And there's also a little button there. If you don't know your friend's username, you can click that. I am Loud Librarian, and both of my L's are capital. And you'll see Dean from Supernatural is my little avatar. So that's how you'll know it's me. If you're doing this right now, or if you have Board Game Arena pulled up, I'd love for you to invite me to be your friend. I'm always looking for friends. I'm on here about every other day. I used to get on multiple times a day, every day, and I realized that I needed to actually do other things with my time when I got home and when I woke up. So, but feel free to add me so that later on, if we have some time, we can play some games. And then you'll start getting trophies as you play games, as you do things on Board Game Arena. As you can see, I sent myself a friend request, so I received a trophy. And so to start a game, there are a few different ways to do it. I find that this is the most simple way to do it, is go to the main page. And if you're still uncomfortable with that, click on the top left corner where it says BGA, and it's the little puffy cloud. That will take you to the main home page. And then you can always click play now. Those will always get you where you need to go. One of those two things or both of them will get you to a good page. If you're stuck in something, you went into forums, you don't know how to get back, or you finished a game and you don't know how to get back to the beginning, click the puffy cloud or click play now if that's available. And once you click play now, you should see your modes that we've set up, and you should see me if you've invited me to be your friend. And I'll kind of pull up my phone and see if anyone actually did that. I have some messages. Hey, look at that. I've got some friends. So that's cool. So once you see me there, you can click the avatar, and then you should see games below that little section, or you can type up in the search bar a game that you are hunting for. The next thing that you want to do, though, is once you get into the game, like here, you want to change the table configuration. The game mode says training mode, and that's great for the first few times that you're playing a game that you don't know. But once you start feeling comfortable, I'm still nervous. Once you start getting comfortable with the games and with Board Game Arena, you can change that game mode to normal. And then right below that, even though you're not seeing that on the screen, the next part of that will be the time frame it takes to play the game. So if you're doing turn-based and you don't want to have any limits on when your opponent has to take their turn, definitely click no limits, which is something I always do when I'm playing with anyone, because you never know. Just because they're playing right now doesn't mean they're going to be able to come back in even 24 hours, lo and behold, 6 or 12. So I always like to do that no limit. But if you're playing with someone that you don't know, you might want to set a limit on the time. And then you can wait for them to accept. If you're talking to them, you've got Discord going or Zoom going, and they're in there right then, tell them to wait just a second so that you can change that game mode and that limit before they click accept. So I go into a little bit more detail here on solo mode, because you do have to change. We talked again about simple game and turn-based. This is the one where you would change it to manual. And the reason you're doing that is for solo mode, it will not let you play with friends because you're playing by yourself. So you need to click manual. And then when you click games up at the top, there's play now, news, and then games. It gives you some filters that you can sift through, which are really nice. So you can do the drop down on number of players, which will be solo, of course. And then you can actually even take it down a little bit farther. You can do complexity, play time, and things like that. I chose to pick a really fun game. If you guys haven't played this, if you haven't been on Board Game Arena and you haven't done this, this is a really, really fun game to get started with a few people. This is called Loco Momo. I hope I'm saying that right. But if you notice next to where I've clicked on that, there's 61 results of just solo games. So lots of games out there, Pandemic, Railroad Inc., that you can play with a lot of people, but you can also just do the solo mode and play by yourself, which is really cool. So after you've done your filters and you've selected the game, you would click play this game now. Then there's another little quirk. You have to actually click create, and my screen is not showing it because the little thing is covering it, but I think it's over here. It says click create, and then you would do that table configuration that we talked about in the last screen. And then you open table and accept, and then you play the game again, because you're not waiting for anyone, it's you. The nice thing about a lot of these solo modes is they are in training mode all the time. You can't change them to normal mode. And the reason I say that's nice is because if you don't want to play anymore, or you got the hang of it, you feel like I don't want to play this game anymore and I'm good, you can pop out of it without getting any penalties. Anytime you're in training mode, there are no penalties, which is nice. So let's say no friends are online right now and you really are itching to play a game. You can play with strangers and possibly make new friends. So this top screen that I've shown you already, where it's got a picture of your friends, if you scroll down, and I have to scroll down a lot because I have a lot of favorites, which is the next screen right under find a game. It leaves your favorites on the screen and you can pick them that way. But if no friends are on right now, scroll all the way to the bottom and it will say, see all available tables for all games. And when you click that, depending on how many games and tables are available, it could take a while to generate the list. But as you can see, I did a little screenshot of a few of the games that were available right then and there, and you can view them instead of join, just kind of see what it's going to be about, or you can hit join right there. A couple of things you want to look for is, okay, I've never played Seven Wonders before and I don't know how to play. And if the person who has set up the game is an expert, they may not be really thrilled that you're jumping into the game. So you might want to look for games that the expert is not there. You just don't want to make people upset with you for being in there, or pop in and ask the person, hey, I'm new at this. Are you okay with me joining your game? And usually people are pretty cool to answer you because they'd rather you talk to you before you start the game and find out that you don't know what you're doing. But in that same vein, it's a really good way to learn how to play games. If you don't know Lost Ruins of Arnak and this person is pretty open to you joining, that would be a great way for you to get in there, play the game, maybe open up a chat and talk to them. Hey, I don't know really what I'm doing. Can you guys assist? And hopefully they will help you out. And hopefully you can make some new friends that way. So after you've done that and you've joined and you've played the game, I'm going to go to here. After playing those games with everyone, whether they are friends or strangers, it's always good to give them a little thumbs up. There's a screen that will pop up at the end of each game that has a thumbs up and a thumbs down. And what that's doing is it's just helping all of us get a little bit better reputation. So it's kind of nice to just say, hey, we had fun. I like this person. I would definitely recommend them to a friend. And it's always good to throw a little note in the chat window at the bottom of the game to just let them know that you had fun. Just saying good game or GG at the end of the game is a nice gesture. And this is the point where you've got to reach out. If they were a stranger and you had a great time, maybe ask them to be your friend or offer to play another game with them. So, but always be nice. That's your best thing, and communicate often. If you've got something going on, I'll do a quick little weird story. When I first got on Board Game Arena, I made a ton of friends because I posted on Facebook, hey, I'm on Board Game Arena. Who wants to play with me? And I ended up with about 500 friends that first weekend. So I ended up with quite a few people that are still my buddies that are in Canada. And we would play late at night. And we just kept playing all hours of the evening, which is why I had to kind of cut myself back on all of this. But it's a good way to make friends, continue on that train and continue gaming with them. I would end up, chatting with them. Hey, do you want to start a game? And now we're in groups on Board Game Arena. So I learned all different kinds of games just playing with these 500 people. So if you have some groups on Facebook and you want to get started with this, that is one way to get a lot of friends on here pretty quick and start learning how to play all these games. And we talked about penalties already, but that's just kind of a reminder there that the penalties happen when you forget to play, or also if you write something bad in chat and you're mean to someone in chat, you can get a penalty for that. So someone can report you. So again, be nice. We're all here to just play games and have fun. So these are some extra resources that you can find after you've got some games set up and you're kind of just wanting to poke around on Board Game Arena. A good way is to go into a forum and see what's going on there. There's maybe some games out there that you found maybe were a little buggy. You may not be the only ones. You can go to the forums and you can find out if that game is buggy for everyone, or if it's just you and maybe you need to report it to the company that is running that game. The other thing that you can do is, of course, you can look at games that are out there by clicking on games and doing that number of players and narrowing it down. The other thing is in your community, which is really neat. You can find a player. And the other thing I wanted to touch on is the alpha games, which you're not going to see that on my screen here because this is my fake account. So I did not have my 500 games yet. But once you play 500 games, you can go into the community page and you can request to be an alpha player. And what that does is it allows you to play all of the games that are not out for everyone yet. And you can even invite non-alpha players to those games. And you can talk to the game designer and find out, not find out, but you can talk to them about bugs or different situations within the game. And you might even have a few designers just show up in your games. I've had that a few times where someone's invited me to a game and I didn't know who they were. And it turned out it was actually the designer of the game on Board Game Arena. So that's kind of fun to do that. And this is where you would look to see if you want to go ahead and pay for Board Game Arena or if you just want to stick with the free one for now. And I'll go forward. Okay, so this is when we all get to chit chat about things. I just wanted to share a little bit here of one of my virtual programs. We have had, again, my virtual programs have been going since 2020. And we have them on Tuesdays, and we have them at 10, at 1, at 3:45, and then we have a 6 p.m. Game night. And those are all virtual. every Tuesday. So we started out, I'm usually the host. Most of the programs on Tuesdays, I know or can get a hold of the people who attend, and I can let them know, hey, I'm out sick. Can we, do something later or maybe tomorrow? And everybody's usually pretty cool with that. But sometimes you might have a huge group and you can't get a hold of everyone. So at that point, I would turn it over to one of my team members to take over if I wasn't there. Most of my programs on Tuesday are for adults, and I kind of posted that here on this slide, but I'm going to talk about my other programs too. The teen entertainment at 3:45 is, you guessed it, for teens. Adults can still come, but it's for the teens. It's their time to hang out and do some virtual gaming during that time. And then game night is, I would say, for everyone, but it's not for the littles. We don't have any right now virtual gaming for the littles. That may change, but right now it has not. We started out doing this on Zoom and Board Game Arena, but in 2021, I got on Discord and I absolutely loved it and pushed all of my virtual programs over to Discord, and we haven't looked back. It's been great for that. The only thing we still host through our library on Zoom is programs like this, where we're doing training sessions or things like that, or if we have to do a board meeting virtually, that's the way we do it. But everything else is done through Discord, and it's just been really helpful. We usually have everything lasts about an hour, but there's been a few times, especially on that virtual gaming in the AM and the game nights, where they go into that 2-hour range. And I always set aside time to make sure I'm available for those 2 hours just in case. And that's always fun. The first gaming program, which is at 10, they love to try new things every time. Every Tuesday, what do you guys want to play? Something new. They don't want to play anything that we've already. Do you want to try Splendor? Oh no, we already know how to play that. Okay, so we're going to do something else. So it keeps me on my toes, because I do have to come up with a new game every Tuesday, which is a lot to come up with. So we've jumped around a little bit, and we have gone to Tabletop Simulator, Tabletopia, and then one of the favorites that they will go back to quite a bit is playing Dominion, and that's online for free, not through Board Game Arena. So I know I digressed a little bit, but I do want to share that those are out there available for folks to use. And then that's my last slide for the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and unshare, or Rebecca can unshare my screen.
You should see a red stop share button.
Thank
Dana.
you. I'm an idiot. Okay, so anyway, moving on. So let me go ahead and get out of this ridiculousness. Okay, so do we want to? Okay.
So I was keeping tabs on questions, and it looks like most of them were answered while you were talking. There was a question on Twitch. Someone was talking about a time that they ran a session, but they had multiple people playing in the same location. So you have to have premium accounts if you're playing in the same location. So yours is fully online, right? You don't run this with anybody at the library.
So I'll talk about that twofold. The teen program, people come into the library and then they'll get on the internet to play online, which kind of cracks me up a little bit, but it's fun because they're here, they're in the building, they're getting the atmosphere of the library, but they're still learning these, and I will say, skills by getting on Board Game Arena, getting on Discord, because maybe they're not familiar with those things. So that really helps with that. So that's the only one. It's not necessarily run, and I did air quotes that you cannot see. So it's not necessarily run in the library, but we don't turn anyone away if they want to come in and join the virtual program. Hey, we're good to go. And then I think there was something else mentioned about the premium. So yes, we had a few people when we first started this, because we were testing it a lot. We were trying to work with my teammates who work at the library with me, and we all were at a different computer and we couldn't all play the games together. So that was another reason that pushed me over the edge to, spend that $2 a month to get that premium account, because that is quite helpful. And then if you're at home and you have, your family members are with you and they want to play too, as long as someone who is a premium member has invited those folks to a game, everybody can participate. Or if you just want to participate with each other, somebody does need to get that premium account, but you both don't need one. Did that answer part of that? Anything?
Yeah, and I put a link to Board Game Arena's FAQ on playing in the same
Oh, good.
location and
Good. Thank you.
the premium account requirement. So that's in
Awesome.
there.
And yes, I do use Board Game Geek. I am
Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm sending this out to, everyone, and this is now on, on everything, but I'm going to give you a joke about my husband. I wanted to get that board game stats where you can keep track of, and
I
don't
have
usually-
that.
Okay, good. So I don't usually do apps that I pay for. That's not something I do. I never do that. And what is it like? It was like maybe $5 or something like that. And it was right around, it was a little bit before Christmas. And I made a joke to my husband that I really wanted to purchase this. And he said, okay, that's your Christmas present. Okay, that's ridiculous. So, but I did end up purchasing it, and it's fantastic. And it is linked to Board Game Geek, which is really, really cool, because if you're playing a game that maybe I have all of the games that I own on Board Game Geek. And then when I'm playing on the stats page, if you're playing a game that maybe you don't own, it will add it without adding it to your collection. And it kind of puts it all together and keeps track of your stats. So it's awesome. Oh, there you go. Look at you. She's on top of it.
Yeah, I love using BG stats, and I record my like virtual plays of games, like whether I'm playing it on Board Game Arena or I'm playing it on my iPad or I'm physically playing the board game. I record all of them in there. It's nice to look back, and you can look at all kinds of, like, as a librarian, it's really cool. There's so much data in there.
When we have local game nights in my neighborhood, and we go and hang out at, and we're maybe having a glass of wine, and then I have to pull out my phone because we just played, games. Okay, everybody stop. We got to wait for Dana to put the stats in. Yes, because we won't remember this tomorrow. We don't know who won.
All right, I see Kelly has a hand up. I'm going to turn on the option for y'all to unmute yourselves if you have a question. So Kelly, go ahead.
Great, thank you. I'm trying to wrap my head around how you actually do this. So say I want to play Carcassonne with teens online. What are the steps? Like, doesn't everybody need to have their own account so they can join the game? Like, I'm not clear on that. Oh,
yes. And that's why you're getting the presentation that we just did. You're gonna have access to that. I believe Rebecca is putting that in a PDF for you guys, so it can show how the teens can get their pages as well. It will kind of need to be done a little bit beforehand. If you know the program's happening, you're getting the teens all excited, you might want to just do a quick sheet to show them how to do it, or have a session where you walk them through it, kind of like I've done for you guys today. You won't be able to play with anyone unless they have an account. So everyone needs an account.
And they don't have to pay for it. You would just like invite them to your premium.
That's absolutely correct. I have all of my participants to all of my programs. I am, again, I'm using the air quotes, quote unquote, friends with them on Board Game Arena. I don't have to be friends with them on Facebook. I don't have to be friends with them on Discord. I just have to be friends with them on Board Game Arena. And you can host right there, even if you wanted to. There is a chat feature that allows you to do voice chatting, but it's only within the game that you're in. So once the game ends and you leave, that video that voice goes away. But everyone does need their own account, and they don't have to pay for it, as long as, if you do want to have one person be the premium member, that might be you who's hosting, be the premium member.
Okay. And you just kind of hang out in the Discord and chat while you're all looking at the screen, playing from your own accounts, basically.
Yes, and I have Discord running in the background all the time, and I just open up I have multiple steps or multiple rooms on our Discord server. I have one for crafts, one for games, one for book chat. And so I create each person who's coming, they have assigned roles. So all your teens would probably be assigned to go into the game chat feature on Discord. And if you're not happy with Discord yet, Zoom will work just fine. I just wanted to go farther into this.
All right, thank you. That clarifies things.
Hopefully it wasn't like muddy. I don't know. Like, I see Shirley. Let's see.
Hi, Dana. I have a question. So I have recently on a program with Board Game Arena. Sometimes people show up late. Do you recommend us to all people come to consensus to have one game together, or can they all have a different game for five, or maybe for another game for another people together at the same time? Or you recommend us to have same game together?
So we have done it multiple ways on that. And I'll just give you an example. My morning crowd that's gaming in the AM, I have a Facebook chat with them on Mondays. Hey, who's coming tomorrow so I can set up the games? And I kind of get a feel for, okay, I know that these 4 will be there. This one's iffy. And then on Tuesday, I kind of wait a few minutes. We talk about, what games have we been playing, that kind of thing. And then we start going. And of course, as soon as you start going, then everybody shows up. So I've had that happen so many times. And you know what? Nobody seems to care. We just say, hey, you know what? We're going to start a brand new game right now that everybody's here. Now, if they're a half an hour late, I would say, they might be out of luck this time, and we can start in a different room and maybe start, if you're using Zoom, Rebecca and I were talking about this today. So depending on how many people stick around, we've got some breakout rooms where we can set up games in Board Game Arena, that you can play with each other in each breakout room. So you could, if you're using Zoom, you could do it that way and just have multiple games going. And the people who showed up late, well, this is the game that group is playing. Did that make sense?
Yeah. I mean that when you're doing that, like having multiple games at the same time, you're gonna use like the turn-based. Is that what you're saying? Because
Yes. Honestly, I don't like real time at all. I just hate it. It's not and I shouldn't say I hate. It's just not enough time even to go get a drink of water if you're playing. If someone's playing just a little bit faster. So I always like that turn-based, even if you are doing a real-time game with the folks at that same time. I would do turn-based.
If you're doing a turn-based, what if one of the person, maybe they have internet problem, they just couldn't, and you have to keep waiting for the person when it's time for person A. Then it might have some Wi-Fi internet issues and take some place. So we just stay there, or just kind of kick them out, or you don't want to do that, right?
Right. Well, and you can, if you're worried about that kind of thing, I would stick it on turn-based, but then do training instead of that normal mode. Down the table configuration, that's what's good for training. Training will help you. Let's say you've got 5 or 6 people and then someone just lost their internet feed. If you're in normal mode, the game carries on. So you'll kind of be stuck waiting for that person to come back, and then you'll have to go create a whole new game for the people that are still there. So if you do have sketchy internet, which we've had a lot of that as well, the best way to set them up is do that training mode instead of normal mode. And that way no one will get a penalty. But if you're playing with like your friends and you're not doing a program, I would say do that normal mode. It's great. But when you're doing those programs, it is helpful if you don't know how internet is going to work, or if people are going to walk away and leave. If you're in that training mode, you can always quit the game if that person doesn't come back without any penalties to anyone.
Thank you. One last question. So have you ever, when you're having so many sessions with so many different people, have you ever came to have some people maybe while you're doing multiple sessions with different games, will you want to, because you have to be there because you're kind of linking because you are the premium member, right? Will you ever have someone being impatient while you're trying, because you have to flip over different games, so it takes time for the computer to load as well, right? Have you ever come to a chance that people might be, oh, why are you so late, or take long, or being impatient, or just curious?
And you cut out just a little bit. You were asking if the patrons were impatient. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, when you are
Okay.
changing from different games. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. We have had it's been really wild. For the last 2 years, I haven't had any single person complain about that at all or get impatient. Usually because I'm trying to be such a good host and apologizing profusely about everything. But if people are cranked up about it, just explain, hey, we're all trying to make it work here. Everybody's got, internet things, or, they got to go feed the cat or whatever, or sorry, they came late, surely you've been late to something before too, and try to make a joke out of it. And maybe they just are grouchy. But we haven't really had too much of that in our situation.
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah.
And I think if you run this and you end up having a very large group of people, you may need to have more than one staff member who has access to a premium account, whether that's, hopefully if you're running a program that big, your library can help fund that. But having, enough hosts to have a premium table so that everybody
Yes.
can be seated.
I agree. And once you start playing, I'm almost going to guarantee it. If you like games, you're probably going to pay for the premium. Even if your library does not pay for it, I bet you will, because it's really cool to have that extra premium account. Does anyone, I see someone.
Any
Oh,
other
that's you.
questions?
I was going to read your question and it was your question. Okay.
All right, if we don't have any other questions, I am going to stop our recording and our Twitch stream. And folks who are here in the Zoom chat, if you want to stay and game a bit, Dana can facilitate some gameplay for us.
Hopefully I can do it.